How's that possible? That's number one. And the second thing is, how does it carry over, transmit this information over to the next generation? How does it do that? So in the 50s, there were two very big scientists, okay, Watson and Crick, who discovered it. And they discovered how it does it because they discovered what's called the structure of DNA in such a way that it was like a double helix. It was an incredible discovery. When you look at something like that, you can only say there must be a Ribono Shalom. There's got to be a Ribono Shalom. Because the structure was so fine-tuned. It was so, what's the word? It was so magnificent in its simplicity and in its power. You had to say that there was a boiler designer. Yet one of them, both of them actually, one of them, Crick, was a Meshunitic atheist. Even after everything that he saw, he was a Moshitic atheist. So the Shaila is, what makes an atheist? He's a tremendous Chachamim. These are not idiots. You know, and they're not even Mishoyim. You went to all the guys in Russia. It's not true. Or the guys in Maneuver. That's not true. You know, so what is it? What allows him? What enables him to say that there's no Buddha? Look, Albert Einstein, okay, one of the greatest minds of all time. You know, one of the unbelievable Chacham. There was once a story, I once think Rabbi Kamenetsky once said, there was a story about this, that there was a Talmud that learned under Einstein, and there's a Talmud that learned under Rabbi Chaim Brisker. Apparently, this was many, many years ago. So they asked him, between Albert Einstein and Rabbi Chaim Brisker, who had the better head? It's the question. So the Talmud, though you could say click on that and so on, it's not Pashazah. The Talmud said that the head of Albert Einstein was much greater than the head of Rabbi Chaim Brisker. I know that's not easy to handle. I'm sorry, I apologize for that. Okay, but that's what he said. And if you have any understanding of what Einstein did to physics, you'd start to see a shtick what it was. That he's one of the greatest minds of all time and so on. Yet Einstein, did he believe in God? Did Einstein believe in the Ribono Shalom? And the answer is yes and no. He believed that in the world, in the universe of physics, there was a God. In fact, he believed in such an extent, what he believed is that, and I'm not going to go into physics, but he believed that the rules of nature are never random. There's cause and effect relationships always. Big machlokes on physics, exactly what that means in terms and so on, whether there's statistical probability chance, we won't go into that. But fundamentally, he said very clearly, Zirka, absolutely. In fact, his famous statement was, God does not play dice with the world. Everything is murdik masuda. There's a cause and effect relationship, mamash for everything. Yet if you said to him, well, okay, but that means you believe in the Ribono Shalom. He said, no, you're making a mistake. I believe that there's some kind of intelligence in the Bria. But if you're going to say to me, I believe in what's called a personal God, that's not true, God. So the question is, why not? What happens? What stops a person? So the truth is, Chazal say this very good. Chazal uptights this in one statement of what the problem that a person has with the Ribono Shalom, with the Metzias HaBoirei. What blocks the person's ability, okay, from saying Shema Yisroel Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad? What is the problem? So what the Chazal say, because they all, a min says the following, les din, les dayan. What does that mean, les din, les dayan? What it means is the following, is that a person will say, Einstein will say, you know something, I agree, there's zikha, a top. There's an intelligence that created all realities. But if you look at the human experience, if you look at history, forget about it. If you look at your own life, you see it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Why? Because you see, logic says, if a person is a good person and does good things, his life is good. If a person does bad things, his life is bad. That makes sense, right? If we see all the time that good people get rewarded and have good lives and bad people are punished or whatever have you, we would say, well, is din, there's the meaning of din, there's justice. If there's justice, is dayan. Means there's taka dayan. But the truth is, life is in ganzen verkehr. How many times do we see what Sunday Moraloi or Rosh Hashanah all over the place? How many times do we experience, for example, people who are Erech Yidden, very good people, so on, suffer terribly and have Shrekach HaMazal, and we show them, the worst of show them have unbelievable Mazal. We see this. So when we look at this, the natural feeling is to say, less din, there's no justice. Why? Because we see Tov Lavoyim, But let's dying. If there's no justice, then there's no dying. Because what we understand about Rabbanu Shalom, that if there is a God, according to these meaning, then there would be justice. Because justice is based on logic and on truth.